Throughout the 19th century, the maritime provinces were the shipping and shipbuilding center of Canada. The Parrsborough shore of Nova Scotia was a thriving shipbuilding center. The importance of shipping and shipbuilding to the economy of the Parrsborough shore meant that the lives of most people were defined by the ocean trades. Many men from the region became merchants that traveled the world. A single trading voyage could take over a year. Trading ventures often occurred one after the other to take advantage of profitable freight rates. In this way, the sea touched the lives of Parrsborough shore women. It carried away their husbands, fathers, uncles, and brothers. They had to contend with extended periods of separation. In the absence of menfolk, the women were expected to maintain the family household or farmstead, raise the children, and to make do on their own. A day in the life for a married woman was a hard day's work of household chores, preparing meals, tending to the garden, feeding the barn animals, and milking the cow. Differences in class and personal circumstances meant that some women might have produced butter, cheese, cloth, candles, and soap, while others could afford store-bought commodities. Due to the great length and distances of trading voyages, communication with loved ones at sea was poor and irregular. Income sent from seamen often did not reach home in a timely manner. Margaret Dickney Michener, wife to mariner Simon Michener, wrote on August 20th, 1850, "I met Mr. Harris as I was coming home, and he said there was a letter for me. I found it was one from Simon, written long ago from Cork, and there was some money enclosed. I wonder where it has been all this time." The women often sought employment to alleviate financial pressures. However, few employment opportunities existed for women in these rural communities. They could become teachers, provide laundry services, sell homemade goods, operate a retail shop, or act as a boarding house keeper. The women of maritime communities relied on each other for companionship and resiliency, often forming bonds as strong as family. Sharing a common experience with a network of female friends in the same position helped to lighten their burdens. Margaret's diary entry on September 9, 1850 reads, "After supper, I went over to Maria's. I read a while, then sat and thought on bygone days. Every scene with which Simon was associated came to my mind. I could not refrain from tears, thinking, what if I should never see him again?" Margaret was worried for the survival of her husband, and rightly so. Life was harsh aboard sailing vessels. Seamen were confined to cramped and crowded working and living spaces. Dried and salted food diets were the norm. Incidences of disease were high. Accidents could easily lead to death, and disasters such as shipwreck were common. In spite of this, some women from the Parrsborough shore were able to forego the long periods of worrying about their loved ones' health and the uncertainty of their return. Masters' wives and children were afforded the opportunity to board ship for voyages across the globe. While at sea, the wives were not idle. They mended their husbands' garments, did the washing and ironing, and sewed household items like drapes, pillowcases, and bed coverings that provided comfort within the cabin. They hand-stitched signal flags, assisted the cook in baking, and acted as medical assistant to their husbands in times of crisis. Some women took on religious responsibilities, leading the crew in Sunday worship and in offering spiritual consultations. When youngsters were on board, they taught school lessons. In some cases, however, women performed tasks that were beyond their usual duties. They could be relied upon to assist with smooth sailing by recording the vessel's position and the wind directions. When taught by their husbands, many practiced navigation. Mary Kirkpatrick, wife to Captain Rufus William Smith, sailed as first mate on the M.B. Morris and navigated the vessel during trading voyages. Mrs. Ellen Innes helped with shipping business. On January 5, 1889, her diary reads, "Joe and I looked over some papers and filed them." And later, on January 18, 1889, she wrote, "Joe and I went to work looking over the accounts and did not get through until 12 o'clock. While several of the captain's wives from the Parrsborough shore went to sea, the majority of women remained on shore, waiting for their loved ones' return. In both settings, the women participated in productive labor that was both physically and mentally demanding. Although life at sea and on land presented its own set of challenges, The women shared a lifestyle of frugality, industry, and diligence that kept their families afloat.